Hi guys, and welcome back to Irony Completed. So today I thought I would film for you guys one of my most requested videos, and I don't know why I've been kind of reluctant to film it and talk about it, but that is my tattoos and piercings, and I kind of briefly went over them in my 50 Facts About Me video, which I will link in the description or on a card somewhere. I don't know. As I kind of said in that video, I don't feel like a tattooed person, so I feel kind of weird maybe talking about tattoos and piercings and stuff because I only have 6 tattoos and like 2 non-ear piercings, so I feel kind of weird talking about it, but I don't think I'm gonna get another tattoo now for at least a good few months. Probably not until the end of the year, the beginning of next year time, because I have 2 pieces that I really want to save up for and get done by really amazing artists, so obviously that's going to cost me a lot of money. Not that the tattoos that I got right now aren't done by great guys, it's just that I want to save up for some specific artists that I've been looking at on Instagram and stuff, so that's why I'm going to film this, because I'm not going to get any more for the time being, so it's kind of probably a good time to do it, and then after I get my next 2 or 3 pieces, maybe I'll film another one. I do want a lot of tattoos, so I do intend on becoming a tattooed person, but I kind of don't feel like one right now. Side note, before I get too far into this video, please ignore the fact that my ears are blue. I don't know if you can tell, but I've dyed my hair. It's kind of like a turquoise at the ends and then like a really dark blue at the roots, and obviously I got dye all over my ears, so please ignore the fact that my ears are blue. My hair's really greasy today, which is why I just pushed it back with a bandana instead of actually attempting to do something with it. I'm gonna talk a little bit more in detail about my tattoos in this video than I did in my 50 Facts About Me video. Probably gonna film little clips and insert them rather than try and stand up and show you them all. But yeah, I'll start with piercings because they're super easy and they don't have a meaning and I can breeze through them really quickly. So I do have my first pierced. I only have 1 lobe piercing on each ear, and I don't wear earrings in them basically unless I'm going out, and even then not most of the time because I'm really shit at remembering to put piercings in them and then they close up and all that. Then I do have a cartilage helix piercing up here at the top. I got it pierced with a gun, which is bad, don't do that, for like £10. And it was pierced with a stud, and then I just changed it to a really teeny tiny hoop. I don't know if you can even see that. That is actually my most recent piercing. I got that done like a year ago. I still have problems with it. It's not healed very well. My friend got it pierced at the same time as me with a gun as well by the same person, and hers healed fine, but for some reason ear piercings just don't do well with me. But I am gonna get a forward facing helix and another cartilage piercing slightly further down on the same ear anyway. I'm just going to go to a place that does it with a needle and see if that's better for me. The first non-ear piercing that I ever got was my nose, and I got this done when I was 16. I got it done with a needle at a place in Liverpool that I can't remember the name of, and it cost me £20. My dad signed for it at the time, and it wasn't painful at all. I'd heard from a lot of people that it was really painful, and to be honest, it's definitely my least painful piercing. The cartilage hurt more and my belly button hurt way more than my nose. It was pierced with a needle, and then as she pierced the needle and she was getting the jewellery, the like stud ready to put in my nose, someone fainted getting a tattoo in the next room, so she had to like run out of the room and go deal with this fainting person while I'm sat there with like an inch of needle sticking out of my nose. Like, she cut it down, but it was still like an inch of needle just sticking out of my nose, and it was a really strange experience. But I had absolutely no problems with that healing. I changed the piercing as soon as I could to a ring, and then I used to wear these clear retainers for school and sixth form because I wasn't allowed facial piercings. I do wear a stud sometimes, but for the most part I wear this little I don't know if you can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just a little silver hoop. The one thing I regret though is that this isn't my good side. Like, when I take pictures, I don't generally take them from my right side of my face. I always take them of this side of my face, so I kind of wish I got my piercing on this side, because then maybe it would like be seen in pictures, because I think sometimes people forget that I have it because I'm always taking pictures of the left side of my face instead of the right, so yeah. And the only other piercing that I have is my belly button. I'll show you. Right now I just have a gold coloured bar in it with like a clear holographic-y looking thing. I first got my belly button pierced when I was 13 years old, and then I went on a camping trip. I was doing Duke of Edinburgh Award and it fell out in the shower and I didn't realise, and then it healed over while I was away that weekend because I didn't have another bar to put in it. And then I spent several years without it, and then when I was 17, I think, I got it re-pierced in someone's living room, which I don't recommend exactly, but it turned out fine. It hurt way more getting it pierced the second time because it was going through scar tissue, and she did pierce it slightly crooked, but I don't think it's that noticeable, so it doesn't bother me in the slightest. And I can't remember how much it cost me the first time or the second time I got it pierced, but I generally just stick to simple jewellery, and I always have to wear sterling silver jewellery because if I buy cheap belly bars, like the ones from like Topshop or Claire's, or you know, there's kind of these high street places that sell body piercings, if I ever wear those in my belly button, it gets really infected and really inflamed for some reason. I had the most problems healing with my belly button. It got infected several times the first time and the second time I got it pierced. So I think it's because basically the bar's constantly moving, so stuff like that, germs get into it and stuff, and it is a surface piercing and they're notoriously bad for healing as well. However, now it's completely fine. I've had it for 2 years now and I don't get problems with it anymore, but I do always keep jewellery in it so it doesn't ever heal up. I really like it. I think it looks nice with crop tops and stuff, so I really like belly button piercings. I think they look cute. All my piercings I just cleaned with salt water and nothing else, just salt water soaks or salt water on a Q-tip or a cotton pad. It's really that simple to take care of. Just keep cleaning them with salt water for a good few weeks and then they should heal. Usually it's 6 to 8 weeks, but for some piercings it can be up to a year. My belly button was definitely around 6 months, and this one, like I said, I've had it for a year, and if it gets knocked it still does cause me some problems, but for the most part it is healed now. Now on to tattoos. Like I said, I have 6 tattoos, ranging from really small pieces to quite large pieces, and I have been getting tattoos since I was 16, which is 100% illegal, and I definitely don't recommend it. So my first tattoo is a calf piece. It's a mermaid in a Japanese manga kind of style. I found the drawing on DeviantArt, and then I messaged the girl and asked if it was okay if I used her drawing, and I got it tattooed on my leg. I don't remember how much it cost me or anything, but I do remember that it didn't hurt at all. It's quite a big piece, I guess, for a first tattoo. Most people go small for their first tattoo, but I chose not to. Don't love this tattoo. It's definitely not one of my favourite tattoos that I have. I don't regret it so much as I wish I didn't get a manga style mermaid, because it does seem a little bit infantile or like juvenile to 19-year-old me. It didn't to 16-year-old me. I do love it and I love the placement, and I definitely would still get a mermaid tattoo if I didn't have that one, and I plan on getting other mermaid related tattoos. I just wish I got it in a different style of art, but that's beside the point. I have it now and I don't mind it, so yeah. The words underneath say Between Seas and Lovers, which is the name of a song by this band that no longer exists, and I don't really want to talk about them because they kind of fucked me and my friend over a little bit, but I really love the song specifically. It's a really nice song, and the acoustic version was basically the soundtrack to mine and one of my friends' summers together. We spent the whole summer listening to this acoustic version of Between Seas and Lovers, and it was just a really fun memory and a happy memory, even though, like I said, the band kind of turned out to be dicks. But that's a story for another time. The next tattoo I got after that... Okay, I don't remember the order I got my tattoos in after that one. Oh my god, I thought I remembered the order. Oh, that's sad. Okay, so I'm gonna just carry on with legs. The next tattoo I have on my legs is I have a cutthroat razor on my right ankle. And that one was a Friday the 13th tattoo. I got it in October time, I think, or November time. I can't remember. I can't remember exactly when I got it, but I definitely got it down in Exeter where I go to university. And it was done by, I can't remember the guy's name, I think it's Craig, and he was visiting from a tattoo shop that he works at to this place called the Sandyman Chop Shop in Exeter, which is a barber shop, and they do have visiting tattoo artists come in and do work, and you can book a slot and stuff, and you know, the guys there are all covered in tattoos, and it's a really cool place, and it was a really cool environment to get tattooed in, not gonna lie. That one cost me £30 because it was a Friday the 13th special, which is why obviously it has the number 13 in it, and it was just you pick off a sheet of flash, and I basically chose a cutthroat razor because it was the picture that I liked the most. I was kind of torn between two. One of them was a cutthroat razor and one of them was like an apple with an arrow shot through it, but I already knew I had a plan for an arrow tattoo and I didn't want to get anything with an arrow before I got that. I now have that tattoo, I'll talk about that in a second, but that's basically the reason that I got it, is because it was the one that I liked the most off of the flash sheet. Also because it kind of reminds me of my dad a little bit. That's what I tell people if they ask for like a deep and significant meaning, is that it reminds me of my dad because he shaves with a cutthroat razor. He's got like a handlebar mustache and you know, all that kind of thing, but really it's because I liked it most out of all the flash. And yeah, I didn't know about placement when I went. I just picked the one I liked most and then I wasn't sure about the placement. I was thinking wrist, but like as a recovered self-harmer I thought it was kind of morbid to get like a razor on my wrist, which is why I got it on my ankle. It didn't hurt really. It was a little bit sharper than some other areas because you get all the like tendons and bones and stuff under the skin, and that kind of pinched a little bit when it was getting the lower down to my ankle, but it really didn't hurt that much. So moving upwards, the next piece that I have is my side piece. I will show you now, but I will also insert like a better clip of it. In case you can't tell, that is a old-fashioned movie camera, like one of the ones that you have to wind up with the big reels of film on the top, and it has the film coming out of it and wrapping around the legs of the camera. And on the film I decided to take inspiration from traditional styles of tattoos, which often include banners with quotes or text on them. I decided to use the film coming around as a kind of banner, and it says "Between Art and Life" on it, and that is a Jean-Luc Godard quote, and I essentially got this because I study film. Film is definitely one of my absolute favourite art mediums, and I don't want to be a filmmaker, but I want my life to revolve around movies and films and things like that. So I don't know, I've studied film for like 4 or 5 years now and I really enjoy it. I'm kind of a little bit of a cinephile, so basically it is my cinephile tattoo. Onto my arms, I have 2 tattoos on this arm. My most recent tattoo is these 2 crossed arrows, which I got 2 of my closest friends, Mia and Lauren, to draw for me. That's why they're not perfectly symmetrical or neat or even, is because I wanted the arrows to be tattooed on me as the guys drew them. I used to carry around a little piece of paper that had the 2 cross arrows that they'd drawn in my purse, but the tattoo artist stole it when he tattooed it on me, but I don't need it now because I have it permanently on my body. And essentially I got that because there is a quote that's like, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but essentially the quote is, an arrow has to be pulled back in order for it to be shot forward, so when life is dragging you backwards it's because it's going to shoot you into something amazing. I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially the gist of it. And as I said before, I'm a recovered self-harmer, and I'm also recovering from several mental illnesses. Yay me. Not going to get too much into that in this video, maybe another video if you guys are really interested. So I wanted to get 2 arrows. I always knew I wanted arrow tattoos because I liked the way they looked and I liked that quote, and I decided that it would be nice to get my friends to draw them for me and then get them tattooed as they drew them, because it's, you know, just an extra meaning and niceness to such a simple tattoo. The arrow tattoo did not hurt at all. It was literally over in 5 minutes, and despite the fact that it is close to my ditch, it didn't hurt, and I decided to get it placed around that mole specifically because I really liked the mole and I wanted to frame it, which is like, you know, kind of weird, but whatever. And then obviously I have my Sherlock Holmes piece on the inside of my upper arm, and I've had this for a really long time now. Maybe this was my second tattoo, I'm not sure. I originally just got the Sherlock Holmes silhouette, you know, it's the famous Sherlock Holmes silhouette from the books and from the tiles on Baker Street Tube Station, which is where I first saw it. And I had wanted it for about a year before I got it, so I just decided to go for it. And I love inner arm tattoos like this. I just think it's a really pretty placement, so I thought it was slightly a more feminine placement. And then I felt like it looked a little bit too much like a sticker, so I went back a few months, like 6 months later or something, and I roughly designed a frame and showed the tattoo artist kind of how I wanted the frame to be, and he drew out my idea, made it more symmetrical and neat, and it obviously has 221B written across the top of the frame, and I think it looks absolutely gorgeous with the frame. I love it. And that one again didn't really hurt. It just took a really long time because the outline was like over, and then you have to shade in like solid black for the whole thing, and I don't think shading is any better or worse than lines. I think lines are probably worse than shading if I had to pick which is worse, but it just took so long and my arm was numb and I bled quite a lot, and then it swole, and it was really hard to sleep because it would just like stick to the covers or like stick to the bottom part of my arm. It did heal really patchily. I think it's because I pulled out some of the ink by accident, because I pulled out some of the scabs by accident. So I did get it touched up when I got the frame done, and then it was, you know, completely fine. And my last tattoo, I'm sure you guys can see it, and this is probably the one that you see most in my videos. This is a quote along my collarbone, and it is a quote from Doctor Who. It says, "Dreamer of improbable dreams," in a really nice calligraphy kind of font. And that is a quote from Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, and the full quote is, "I am and I always will be the optimist, the hoper of far-flung hopes, and the dreamer of improbable dreams." And I think it's from either The Almost People or the two-parter that The Almost People was in. I can't remember the name of the other episode. It's one of those two anyway. I got it partly obviously because I really love Doctor Who, just like I got my Sherlock Holmes because I am enamoured with the idea of Sherlock Holmes, but I also got it because it kind of doesn't sound like a Doctor Who quote. It's not a really obvious Doctor Who tattoo, and honestly I just decided that I wanted a quote here, and then I spent ages online looking at like things to get, and I saw, not someone else had the tattoo, but I was looking at Doctor Who quotes and I saw that quote and I was like, oh, that's like a really nice just segment from the larger quote, and obviously kind of means nothing is impossible, just improbable, which basically is what the whole show is about. And I really like this tattoo. I think it's dainty and feminine, and like I said, I really love the placement because it's kind of like a dainty tattoo to have on show most of the time. I did get most of my tattoos so that they could be covered, I'm not gonna lie, because I don't know if I'm gonna go on to work in retail anytime soon, and having a part-time job at uni is difficult enough, let alone trying to get hired when you're like head to toe covered in tattoos. So I have tried to be wary with my placements, at least for the time being. But I don't think that tattoos are going to be a big deal in the future, or at least I think they shouldn't be a big deal. As for taking care of my tattoos, I essentially bathe them in warm water, try not to put too much heavily perfumed soaps or creams on it, and I generally just use Pseudocreme or Bepanthen on my tattoos, which are both nappy creams. Basically anything that's a thick enough lotion that's not perfumed, not antibacterial, they're the kinds of things that you want to put on it, but you also don't want to put too much because if you smother the tattoo then it can not do too good for the healing process. In terms of what tattoo was the most painful, that's super easy. My most painful tattoo was my side piece because it took 7 fucking hours across 2 sessions. I did one 5-hour session and one 2-hour session, and it was the most painful thing ever, and it had white ink involved, and white ink, oh my god, white ink tattoos are so painful, like white highlights, just the worst, like one of the worst pains I've ever experienced. And also my collarbone tattoo was pretty painful, but it was over really quickly. Generally having a rib tattoo though hasn't put me off, because I kind of want like a sternum piece because I think it would look nice and it still would fit, because my tattoo is mostly on my side and then only slightly on my front. I am going to get more tattoos on my ribs, so it's not put me off, and my general belief is to not let the fear of pain of tattoos or piercings put you off getting them, because they're worth it and you get something beautiful at the end. It's not like you're just like stabbing yourself with a needle and getting no result. You're stabbing yourself with a needle and getting something cool out of it, so yeah. I hope this was entertaining for you guys who have been requesting that I do a tattoo and piercing video since I first started my YouTube channel. Like I said, kind of worried about doing a video like this, but I decided like fuck it, and now you guys know what tattoos and piercings I have. I will make more updated ones as I get more tattoos. Like I said though, probably not going to get any until kind of like end of this year and then the start of next year. I want to pay for a really cool tattoo for my 20th birthday. I have a great idea. I shan't tell you though because need to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did and you'd like to, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. If you guys have any requests for more videos that you would like me to do, or things that you'd like to see in the future, tutorials and such, then please leave them down in the comments or at me on Twitter, Tumblr or Instagram. They'll all be linked down in the description, along with everything that I am wearing and what's on my face, just like always. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!